I'll say first to kick things off, your hair is a little bit different than when we saw you on TV at the front of the Boston Marathon. So I think I want to talk about first the hairstyle for the Boston Marathon. What was the inspiration on and would you call those space buns? What was the inspiration?
I think they're space buns.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just wanted to do something different. I feel like every guy with long hair will either just let it flow or they'll do a single bun and, want to do something a little different. And I always thought space buns looked really good and wanted to try them out myself.
So was that the first time you ever rocked them, or did you do it in training a little bit to see if it would be comfortable?
Nah, I did do it in training a couple times. I have my one big marathon simulation workout where everything is to a T, what I'm going to do in the race. So we definitely, we tried it out beforehand and make sure it worked.
Got it. So any inspiration there from Ellie? I know she's famous for her space buns, or is this just, I don't know. You already had the idea and it's just, great minds think alike.
Well, I needed to do something with the hair for sure because it's so long and I wanted to keep growing it without getting it cut. And space buns rock. I think they look really good and I just want to try them.
Good stuff.
I think it worked out. We were just saying, I was like, how does Mick not have 1 million followers after Boston? Because all I could pay attention to for a little while was when you popped up close to CJ, and I was like, what is going on?
It was really awesome too because so many people were yelling out in the race love your hair kind of stuff too, and I was just like, I think this is a good call.
It's a secret. Yeah, it's a secret boost during the race to get extra praise from spectators.
That's right.
Yeah.
It didn't. I don't think that. Did the commentators on the broadcast actually bring it up?
I don't think they did.
I don't think they did. They missed opportunity. They really screwed up there.
Yeah, I haven't gone through any of the past streams. The one that the main broadcast, or I think Sidious did their own kind of thing. Mm-hmm. So I haven't gone through any of the
I think he did get
past broadcasts yet.
I think he did get a shout out from Sidious's coverage by Dave Melly, since he was he knew who you were because he went to Kentucky with Zach.
Yeah. No, he mentioned that afterwards, so I'll have to go back through and watch some of those past streams.
Yeah. I guess another topic that we can get into is how are you feeling post Boston?
Pretty good physically. It was really nice to last marathon we were in lockdown, so which was Marathon Project, so that kind of sucked to be stuck in your hotel room the whole time. This time got to walk around. You're in Boston, so I was really making a point to take a little bit of ibuprofen, go out and just shake the legs out for 3 days. So I'm actually feeling relatively good, I would say, all things considered.
That's good. And so you going out in the marathon, I guess, was that technically a half marathon PR? Going 103 low at halfway?
Yeah, good point.
I don't know. Were you expecting that going into the race? Were you I'm probably going to have to, run PRs back to back? I mean, you've run 209 before for full marathon, so it's not like you can't run a 103 half. But I don't know. Yeah, it's just crazy to go out and do it in the first half marathon of a marathon, regardless.
I've done it before. So Marathon Project also was a PR through the half as well. I just don't run a ton of half marathons. Right. So in my head I was I'm probably going to end up PRing through the half marathon. It's Boston, it's downhill. I didn't think I was going to be PR by that much. So I want to say it was somewhere around 40 seconds or something like that.
Yeah.
In the PR in the half. So I didn't think it was going to be that substantial. And I completely because I don't check my watch when I race. So I didn't even check my watch. I kind of think to check around half, but checked and it was 14 miles in, and I was oh, missed it. I have no idea what I ran to the half, so whatever.
Oh, God.
Do you have the auto split on, or do you just let it run the entire time?
Nah, I just let it run. I I contemplated switching to a gold Casio for the race just because
that's a
it
move.
would look better.
That'd be way cooler. Yeah.
I
No,
like
so
that.
the most like annoying thing in a marathon is when everyone's watches are like buzzing and then it's not like right at the mile mark. So everyone's like, oh my God, that mile was long or that mile was short. And it's like, no, it wasn't.
It's like, no,
your watch.
your GPS is just
Yeah.
pinging around all the tall buildings,
Exactly.
especially in Chicago.
So smart, man. Yeah, you should bust out a gold watch for sure. That would be epic. That would add to the overall vibe.
That's the plans.
You should get like the calculator watch.
Oh my God.
I don't know about, I just got the like standard like retro Casio.
Yeah.
But I had it, but I didn't have it adjusted and it wasn't feeling quite right before the race. So I was just like, just
that's
don't,
a good
don't
call.
mess with it this one. We'll do it next one.
Yeah.
But the splits, and it was crazy too, because like that was like kind of like my first time running with like a bunch of Kenyans and Ethiopians. So they all had theirs set to split at the Ks.
Yep.
So you had like the very few Americans that had theirs going off at mile markers, and then you had all the Kenyans and Ethiopians having theirs go off at Ks. And I'm just like trying not to like think about it, just like be there in the pack. But checking splits isn't really my thing in a race.
So in the race itself, did it feel like you guys were kind of like throwing in surges, like speeding up, slowing down, kind of yo-yoing a little bit? I mean, on the splits on paper, that's definitely how it appeared, but I don't know if that's just like the effort was the same, and because the hills, it was like deviating, like 440 mile, 5 minute mile, that sort of thing.
Yeah, it didn't feel that yo-yo-y, I would say. There was definitely a couple distinct moments where like I could feel like the pack ease off and like CJ would go. And in most of those cases, that's when I found myself like also putting myself in front of the pack and kind of just like putting myself right behind CJ. But it wasn't like too surgy. The biggest one was when the pack just went.
Yeah, I think it was like a 434
on the Newton
or something
Hills.
like that.
Yeah. And it took off, and there was like, that's again like something that I hadn't experienced before.
Were you expecting that?
Not at that point, no.
Yeah, because
I think was a little bit earlier.
I think we were kind of surprised that they waited until that long to drop the hammer.
It was so. I think what I understood of it was that like CJ purposely pushed downhill before Heartbreak Hill, because he thought it would like break people if they were like going hard before going uphill, and then they would be like really taxed. But basically he just wound everyone up, and then the guys that
broke off.
Yeah, guys that broke away, Kibet, just ended up just keeping the pace and rolling 420s the whole time. So like it didn't really work out, I guess, the way that CJ was planning. But yeah, that was, I guess, probably like the most like decisive probably move you could say.
Yeah. No, it caught me off guard. It also was unfortunate. Right before that move was a water bottle grab, the 25K. And at that point, I think it was Yimmer was also, I was like super stoked because like, I only have one person on my table. This is great. Like I shouldn't have much to worry about bottles being knocked over. And I want to say it was Yimmer was on my table, and we came through 25K and he just completely misses his bottle and knocks mine to the ground. And I'm like, okay, I cannot miss this bottle.
Yeah.
Like this is 25K. We're going into the Newton Hills. Like I have to get that bottle. And so I had to veer off a little bit, bend over, pick it up. And like, I look back up and the pack is just gapped. And I'm like, oh, this is gonna like, and I just like kept putting my head down, surging, looking up, and just like no difference, like the same exact space between me and the pack. And so just grinding away on Newton Hills by myself was certainly harder than I would have liked it to be.
That's brutal. And yeah, like as viewers, you don't ever get those details or the stories, because like the commentators obviously don't know what's going on. Like people just fall off the back and nobody knows why, like what their actual issue is. But
secondary, we kind of bitched about it a little bit that there weren't like secondary or whatever camera angles for
there was no cameras on anyone not the leaders basically. So it's hard to know what was really going on. Yeah, and there's also no difference. like leaderboard showing like how far back is the chase pack or anything like that. Like nobody, we didn't know when we were spectating. I was like, this is horrible to watch, honestly. So.
Yeah, I feel like they normally do have like some kind of like chase pack cam and like, or like some kind of like, oh, this person is so far ahead of the next substantial like placement.
Yeah.
So interesting.
So I guess before that moment, then what was going through your mind? Were you still like, I have a shot at getting a podium here? Like, or were at that point where you starting to feel it?
Yeah. How are you feeling?
Thought that you weren't going to hang on? Like what was in your mind before you fell off the pack?
Before I fell off the pack, like, you know, it was just staying plugged in. I mean, I was feeling great. Like, I mean, there's just an energy when you're up there in that group. And I mean, ultimately, definitely threw away the initial plan, which was, you know, play it more conservative and kind of ride with the rest of the Americans. But I mean, you get into the race and I just really, really wanted a podium. And like, you can't podium if you're that far out from the pack. And so, especially when there's 12 guys right there. So I had to put myself in there and I had to take that risk. So, just hanging in tough with the guys up front and just trying to make the most of that opportunity was the last minute game plan change. So,
yeah. So then in the last, I guess, few miles running alone, like at that point, are you still grinding? Are you still like hopeful that maybe someone like they're going to come
like
back, they're going to slow down
some people up?
I guess how does your mindset change at that point?
Yeah, there was definitely hope that like somebody else is going to be feeling as miserable as me and enough of them would fall back. But I wasn't expecting to feel as crappy as I felt after Heartbreak. That hill definitely got me. And, kudos to like Scott Bobble. He was coming on strong then. And like he had just passed me, I think, right after Heartbreak, and that was psychologically tough. Like I was definitely in a down bad.
Have you read his like quote on passing people that City has put up? Yeah.
Oh yeah. I was like, I feel like that's personal, but
you're like, is it me?
So.
Is that directed towards me?
Yeah, no, I when I read that, I was like, oh man, I feel attacked, but
yeah,
I'm sure according to how many people he passed, you weren't the only one.
Yeah. Oh yeah, there was a few. And I because I caught a few, well, the rest of the Americans kind of caught me, and then I got a little bit of a resurgence or a little bit of energy back in me and once we hit like Boston. And I could kind of like see Benny kind of like trailing back, and that was great. I needed something like that, like a little bit of a W at the end.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard when you like have to switch, not like switch goals, but just like readjust how you're competing.
Yeah.
One thing I'm curious, if you could race it over again, knowing how it would play out, would you change the way you executed?
I don't think so. Yeah, I talked to my coach about like that was kind of like one of the first things that we talked about. And, we talk all the time about like what I want to do in this sport of marathoning. And I really want to go for one of those podiums. And given that race and how loaded it was, I don't feel like I could have done that from that American chase pack. So I feel very confident in my decision to have gone with those guys, and it's going to be a great experience for future world majors. And I don't think we'll see fields as loaded as this one was in the future, but like still want to make the Olympic team one day, so those guys are going to be there, and gotta get more comfortable racing up there with some of those guys.
For sure. I feel like people who, like anybody who did not catch a ton of people. I mean, like obviously Scott Fauble has like the headline story of how many people he swallowed up, but like I feel like at least from my circles on like Twitter and Instagram, people who don't swallow people up get shit on. Like if they're in the lead pack, they're like, oh well, like they shouldn't have gone out that fast. But I don't know. I kind of dig.
I think that's so dumb. I would much rather be you or CJ
if you're
than maybe I would rather be Scott Fauble than you or CJ, but any other American, I would rather be you or CJ.
True.
Like I would rather have been in the mix and like been up there for 20 miles versus then like faded maybe a minute or two slower than what I could have run if I went out slow.
I just like the mindset.
I don't know.
Because
and also the mindset. It's like you're there to race, you know?
Like if you're trying to podium, I don't think that most Americans can podium by swallowing people. Like you can't drop the hammer.
No, you're not going to swallow up guys that are running 425 splits at the end. You can't swallow them up.
Mathematically, like it's not working out.
You got to be there and hope that they falter and that you're in the mix.
Yeah, just like keeping your nose in there.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's like they're like that. The thought process crossed my mind. I distinctly remember it, like the pack going, and then in my head I'm thinking like, okay, that's like a solid pack of 13, 14 guys. Like that's a lot of people to have to catch if I play it conservative right now. And then on top of that, you already had CJ in the group, and you had the Army guy.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
I forget his
drawing
last
a
name.
blank right now.
I'm drawing a blank.
But
is it Kibet?
Yes.
He was.
Yeah.
Yes, Kibet. Yeah. So you had Kibet and CJ already in that pack, and then you had Nico, who was kind of like surging from that American pack, and I'm just like, well, there's also 3 Americans. So if you even wanted top 3 American, like I feel like I needed to go, and like at that moment, I was just like, all right, I'm gonna work with Nico, catch up to that chase pack, and just work with that, or that lead pack, and just work with that lead pack. So definitely a hard decision.
Yeah, of course.
Having never run Boston, like what is the visibility in terms of like how far in front of you that you can see your competitors?
It's actually really good. I gotta say, even on Newton, which was the hardest visibility for sure, at least from where I was at, I don't know like how people's visibility to me was, but for me, that chase pack had like people on bikes and neon jackets and stuff like trailing them. So like I could kind of like look up and see like, okay, I haven't made much progress, but like we're still here.
But you're still in the pocket.
Yeah. And so like it definitely helped, because like it definitely kept me somewhat plugged in on the Newton Hills and still pushing. Like I definitely crashed a little bit on the Newton Hills. It wasn't as bad, I would say, as
if you're completely like isolated. Yeah.
So are you sponsored by Tracksmith then? Or I was trying to figure that out. And like, I guess also what shoes were you wearing during the race? I couldn't tell that on the pixelated live stream either.
Yeah. So,
sorry to interrupt this conversation with Big Dick Mick, but we need to quickly tell you about a great opportunity. This is a business opportunity. It's not a Ponzi scheme, but it's a great opportunity. The Under Armour All Out Mile. Do you have what it takes to run a virtual mile and be on the best team, the biggest team, the fastest team?
Why would you sign up? First of all, why would you sign up for any other team than ours? That's a disgrace.
If you're lame, UAAllOutMile.com. Head over there now. Sign up. It's free. Takes 20 seconds. You go to the teams tab, search for Beer Mile Nation. You'll see our orange little guy. Click join, and you're in. And guess what? If you screenshot that and send it our way on Instagram, to Beer Mile Media on Instagram, you're going to be entered into a giveaway, giving away free shoes, Under Armour kits, all sorts of goodies. So, I mean, it's a free way to get shoes and a giveaway. Basically. And also get to run a virtual mile and potentially win a lot of money as well.
Yeah.
So UAAllOutMile.com. Make sure you head over there now. The mile itself is virtual between June 1st and 5th. All you got to do is hook up a GPS watch and run a mile sometime between there, and that's it.
Code it and load it, you know?
All right. Go over there, sign up now. Join our team, Beer Mile Nation. Back to our guy.
Our regularly
scheduled
programming.
Technically, I just work for Tracksmith. They did show a ton of support that I was greatly appreciative for. Boston, I didn't get any travel arrangements or lodging for the marathon, and so they helped out a bunch and came through and helped me pay that way. But I do technically, I work for Tracksmith. Went that route when I wanted a bit more of a stable job. I had been working bartending gigs and stuff like that for most of my marathoning career. And
it's a lot of time on
with
feet.
COVID. It is, yeah. And then especially when COVID hit, like security was not very good. And I was like, I think it's time that I look to change this up and get something more stable. So got a job with Tracksmith. And obviously with that, like, came the expectation that, like, hey, if you don't have a sponsorship, obviously wear Tracksmith kind of thing. And doing photo shoots for them and them helping pay my way for a lot of these events. So it's been great. Like, I'm very happy with my relationship with Tracksmith, but technically, yeah, it's a job. And as far as shoes go, it was the Vaporfly Next Percents, the Next Percents 2 or something.
Yeah,
I don't know
Yep.
There's the naming on them are,
dude, it's so confusing.
so weird.
I know.
It's so confusing.
There's too many things like hashed together. The Air Zoom Vaporfly Next Percent 2s. like what?
Like, what the fuck is the difference between this shoe and like the shoe
probably
that
not a lot of
sounds pretty
difference between
similar?
that and the one
Yeah.
before. But yes, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Are you somebody that likes having a job? Like, I feel like certain athletes really enjoy having something that's not running. Obviously, it's like folks that are typically not sponsored, but are you somebody that likes having a job away from running? Well, I guess somewhat related because it's Tracksmith.
Yeah. No, I definitely do. And largely even for me, I think as of recently, as I'm getting older, it's been trying to secure something even for when I'm done running. I don't want to finish with the sport and then be like, God, now I got to start completely over, climb the corporate ladder kind of thing. So I definitely have like career goals outside of the sport of running. And I mean, it's still kind of like within the realm of running. But I want to be like, eventually get to the point where I'm designing products and stuff like that. And so,
when you say designing product, is that more like industrial engineering side of things, or when you say what do you mean when you say designing products?
I mean, really just anything. I guess like in the design world, my background is in mechanical engineering, and like I always wanted to get into like product design and really just any kind of bandwidth, something a little bit more mentally challenging than, pouring beers. Not that bartending in the service industry is hard. Like it's hard work, but like, just something that's a little bit more mentally challenging and, starting to build that career up now. So, and it's just, it's nice to have that distraction from running. I mean, I love the sport of running, but ultimately I'm like a competitor, and like, I don't necessarily love running. I just love competing. So, getting a little bit too caught up in the sport of running, like, can be hard on me. And so having that like work distraction is nice.
For sure.
Definitely.
How many, I guess in your looking forward future plans, like how long do you foresee yourself continuing to pursue marathoning? Are you thinking of it in terms of like Olympic cycles? Like I'm going to get through 2028, or are you taking it 1 year at a time? Like how are you approaching it?
Yeah. I mean, obviously like 1 year at a time is, it's like kind of like broken into like, I guess like two goals really. Obviously present mind, like worrying about what I have on the deck for this year, but also being conscious of what I want to get to in this career. And like, what's cool is we have an Olympics coming up in the United States. And so I've always thought like it would be really, really cool to like kind of go out at home in the United States. So ultimately we're looking towards 2028. Would love to stay active, competitive, mentally plugged into the sport. It's hard to stay plugged in for the sport for even 4-year cycles. So, but would like to make it to 2028, and honestly make the team in 2024. So, but yeah, year at a time, but also being well aware of what my long-term career goals in this sport are.
For sure. Yeah. So, okay. Tell us about like your current training situation then. Living in Idaho, like how many do you have a squad to run with? I know like on your Insta bio, you have like the Idaho Distance Project, but like who is that? Like, is that just you? Are there other people involved? Like, what is the Idaho Distance Project?
Yeah. Yeah, no, so I mean the team's definitely had a bit of like ups and downs. It's definitely currently at its like smallest state I would say it's been in. I do have one other guy that like he like really can keep with me. Andrew Rothla. He was a Boise State grad, recently had a huge breakout year last year in the 5K and mile. And so it obviously with him being a 5K miler, it limits when we can like sync up for workouts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But like earlier in the build, you know, he just absolutely works me and drops me and everything. And by the time I get into marathon stuff, it's like, okay, we're done with that. Like, let's build up his confidence again, and then switch gears to some longer pace related stuff. So, but it's good to have him in that kind of like kick me into gear early on in the season kind of thing. So
it also must be nice to kind of have like the, I don't know what you would call it, the mental reassurance of like, it's all right, he's a 5K miler, like I can get my ass kicked and still be motivated, but like I'll hold like some.
He's not taking my spot on the team.
Right.
Right. Oh, he has zero interest in becoming a marathoner. So
okay, I guess first, what is your next race on the docket? Do you have that thought through, lined up? Fall marathon? What are you thinking?
Yeah, I mean, we definitely know we want to target one of the fall world majors. Obviously, nothing solidified yet, and kind of keeping options open. But yeah, we'll see. I don't see myself doing summer racing, and personally, I'm not like a huge fan of like racing in builds. I'll do it from time to time, but I'm just like, I'm all in on the marathon. So you don't see me in too many races. And right now I'm hoping to get 2 marathons in a year, which is a little more frequent than my track record. So of only doing like a marathon every 2 years. So hopefully, stay healthy, don't take too much time off this time, and get back into it to get a good fall marathon in as well.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you never race except for your marathons, how are you going to break that half marathon PR and get it down to 101 or an hour flat or 59 minutes? Like you got to get those races in once in a while. There's got to be a time and place, I think, to really go for a half marathon PR. We'll see. But right now, there's still some good marathons to do. So definitely.
I heard Chicago has one every year.
I heard Chicago is an awesome marathon. We will be out there cheering you on. Actually, I'm signed up to race the Chicago Marathon, so I won't see you there because you'll be awesome. 10 minutes ahead of me. But you should do Chicago. No, Chicago is great. The only risk
10 minutes.
Are
you going to OTQ?
I better OTQ. That's the goal. Yeah, damn right.
Go OTQ or go home.
But Chicago is like, as far as crowd and how flat it is, like how fast the course can be, the only risk is the weather. It's like could be hot, could be windy, but yeah, I don't know, usually competition's good, crowd's great, so it's definitely a good option. But there's so many fall marathons now too, with like London as well, and Berlin, and Chicago CIM. There's so many options. It's you have your pickings basically.
That's why I'm excited. Like, I think it'll be really, really fun to get into one of those fall marathons because, I mean, really Boston was the only one. I mean, you had that last minute Tokyo opening up, and then you have a few people decided to do Grandma's this spring. But like,
I'm surprised people Boston did being Grandma's the big again. One.
Yeah, Boston only big one. Why are you surprised people do Grandma's?
Because Grandma's like totally cucked everyone by not reimbursing after canceling during COVID.
Oh.
Do you not remember that? Wasn't it Grandma's that did that?
Maybe. Yeah, it might have been.
Oh, dude, they got so much flack for
that. But
they're
also, Grandma's is like the only marathon that you can kind of do in the summer because it's cool enough. Yeah. Like anywhere else in the U.S., you can't do a marathon in the summer. So they kind of have that going for them,
They do.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why people probably still consider doing it.
I don't think people do marathons solely based on whether they have to pay, $150 or not. Like, Well, I think you can charge whatever.
No, I mean, like, historically, like, I think that left a bad taste in people's mouths.
I mean, that's what I'm boycotting it forever.
All right, cool.
Boycott. So what does your downtime look like right now after the race? Are you do you have any other like hobbies or anything else that you're doing in the downtime, or are you still getting some miles in? Like, how do you approach your break period?
Yeah, so I mean, I take like a full week, completely nothing, besides walking and shaking out the legs. I'll get back into some like cross training next week, and then just like slowly ramp back up into mileage. Obviously not too big of a rush to get into anything too serious, because holding it for a while like just won't bode well for the fall marathon. So but yeah, no, I got plenty to keep me distracted. I got a almost 2-year-old puppy, so plenty of downtime with her, taking her for walks, dog park stuff, and actually looking to move in the near future. I'm gonna train remote in Boulder, so sticking with my coach here in Boise, but looking to go back to Boulder, just get a little bit more elevation. There's better resources there too, like PTs, chiros. So yeah, looking to kind of combine the best of both worlds with the training that I got going for me now and all the resources that Boulder has to offer. So that's going to be probably taking most of my next month, is getting ready to prepare for
how long of a drive is that going to be, hauling all your stuff to Boulder?
I can't remember the last time I did, because I moved from Boulder to Boise.
Yeah. Is it in the teens in terms of hours?
I want to say it's like 14 hours.
Okay.
Yeah. Something about that, but you have to drive through middle of nowhere, Wyoming.
Yeah.
So that's
that's rough.
like Laramie, and it's there's nothing, just nothingness but wind, just super high winds. That's it.
Driving a moving truck through there must like suck ass because of all the winds. Like, that's scary.
Yeah.
Terrifying. I mean, well, we didn't even, now that I think about it, we didn't even do a moving van. We did a pod thing, so we were just in our car.
Oh, that might be worse.
Even
honestly.
the car was just like, like
getting blown about.
Yeah. So I think it'll probably be the same thing. Do the pod kind of situation, so I don't have to stress about it.
Oh, somebody else moves the pod for you.
You fill the pod, and then it's like the pod truck comes and gets it and drives it for you. Yeah, you don't have to drive it.
Gotcha. I thought you like put it on your car hitch or something. And I was like, shit, that sounds really scary.
No.
So who are you thinking about training with in Boulder? Are there anyone, or is there any group or anybody in particular that you like already know and you're gonna plan to do workouts with?
Not particularly. I do most of my training here in Boise by myself. So like for me, I'm not like necessarily pressured like I need to find a group. Obviously there's tons of groups now, even more than when I was there, that I'll probably hop in and out of, like Boulder Underground. I got a few friends in the Boulder Underground. The track club kind of thing. So joining them for some of my easy stuff, and I'm always going to be open to people like hopping into my stuff if people want to. But yeah, no, not like really like feeling super pressured to look to join any of the groups, because like I said, I got my training, and I really like what I'm doing with my coach. So
yeah. So are you into like trail running at all, or are you strictly on the roads, like going fast?
Yeah, strictly on the roads. And I even like the pavement too. So
okay.
I pretty much do all of my stuff on pavement. Very rarely get onto softer stuff. It'll be a little bit easier to get on soft stuff in Boulder. The soft stuff here in Boise, it's all like foothills.
Yeah,
so
you can't run fast, right?
Somewhat technical. Yeah, you can't run fast though.
Yeah.
And I don't really run fast on my easy stuff. My easy stuff is pretty like slow, all things considered.
Let's qualify slow.
Well, let's qualify slow. Like, how slow are we talking?
I mean, I would say start most of my runs off at like 8-minute pace, and then like by the end I'm getting to the 6:45s. But like I would say most of my runs average around 7-minute pace.
Yeah.
So I mean, considerably
slower than marathon pace. Yeah.
And from what I'm even used to, I mean, back in the college days, it was everything was
college
30 or faster.
Yeah,
seems
college
just
you
like
just grind
hammered.
each other. Also, when you're younger, you do, I don't know, you rebound a little bit better each day. But yeah, it's still like in terms of like the longer term kind of wear down. It's like every day someone's feeling good, and so you just someone's grinding, someone's 1 or 2 step in. It's like. Yeah,
someone's bringing their personal problems to practice, and they're just like, I gotta vent. And
no therapy, just a ton of testosterone and like the need for speed.
Exactly.
So going back to like your college running days, and so you weren't like a super fast dude in college. I mean, you were faster than Adam and I were by far, but compared to like a lot of your your pros that. Get a deal,
successful.
Get a deal out of
program.
college. They're running quite a bit faster in college. So, was it always kind of your plan? No, you're going to keep running after college, see where things go. I mean, you jumped into the marathon and had a 2:18 debut like shortly after that. So, was that kind of always the plan? You just thought you'd keep running no matter what, or I don't know. How did you get to the point where then now you made that big leap to like being among the best American marathoners?
Yeah, no, I mean. It definitely wasn't like an overnight, like, oh yeah, like college is done, I'm ready for the marathon. I was pretty burnt out from college, just being generally frustrated because I felt like, I had so much more, or I had so much more potential than what I raced in college. And so, it took it was kind of like a slow ease back into it. Actually, Zach Bevan, teammate of mine, kind of like slowly started dragging me out to like these trail runs and stuff like that. And I was like, okay, this isn't bad. And then he started talking about like, oh, it's not like that hard to like go after like, I mean, I know not that I shouldn't say it like that, but like not that hard to hit that B standard for the Olympics. Obviously it is a challenging mark for a lot of America and it's rewarding when you hit it. But like for us, he was like, it's
achievable.
Collegiate D1. Yeah.
You should
it's achievable.
Yep.
And so like, I was like, all right, started coaching myself, just doing some really boneheaded stuff, like running like 125, 130 mile weeks and like running like 4 to 5 workouts a week. And just I'm just going to like see how much I can work. And ran that 2:18 in Jacksonville, and I was like, okay, that was like pretty fun, and like let's actually try training somewhat more seriously. And so just like really it was all like saying yes to like whatever the next like big opportunity was. And so like shortly after the 2:18 it was Brad Hudson reached out, and Luis Orta, who was also a former teammate of mine. They were like, hey, you should come out to Boulder. And I was like, I work at a running shoe store, so why not? Like, I can do that. I could do that out in Boulder. I was like working at a running shoe store and bartending, and I was like, I can do both those things in Boulder. So sure. And then one thing, just general progression of like slightly changing my training every build and just building off of that. And obviously once I got into my training with Cameron, we pumped the brakes a lot more. Definitely like did the less is more strategy, which is a change, but like definitely still doubling down, I would say, on the whole, like we're going to build as you age and get stronger kind of thing. So
is there a piece of advice that you would give yourself in college, or is it just something that you had to work through, like mentally go through kind of a little bit of burnout to come back to the sport?
Yeah, I think it was just like something that I had to go through. Cause I honestly don't know what I could have said to myself. I think what happened is I just like put way too much on my plate. You know, mechanical engineering degree and like the pressure of being a D1 SEC super competitive conference. Like, you know, it was just constant pressure every second from the moment I woke up to when I went to bed at like midnight. Cause you know, I'm constantly trying to get through the, so, and I think it just didn't go well. And like at one point I was just like questioning, like, is this ever going to work out for me? And so I guess that would probably be the advice that I give is like, you know, don't question yourself. Like, just like, as soon as you start questioning yourself, your training and all that, like, it's not going to go well. You have to like, I think most training will work for anyone, but you got to believe it will. Like, if you don't believe it's going to work, like, you're going to get into this spiral, and, you know, the only way out of that spiral is to just do a hard switch.
Yeah.
So
if you were to do college over again, would you, like, knowing kind of what interests you in the non-running, like, professional world, would you stick with mechanical engineering?
That's a hard one. I think so. Like, I mean, the other big major that was competing with that was like going to school for architecture, which would
probably just as much time.
Yeah, just as much time and effort. So I mean, I was a losing battle there. But yeah, no, I don't think I would have really changed much, particularly in the degree that I got. I need something that was more math, science focused and challenging. So yeah.
It's a really valuable, like any of the engineering degrees are like just valuable in terms of,
you can just go wherever you want.
Yeah, like it's applicable to so many different career paths, and it like just looks good. It's like if you can get through an engineering degree, like you can probably figure out a job. So
you're probably fine for the rest of your life.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
I mean, that's literally what I thought when I went to pick my degree. I was just like, you know, mechanical engineering, I feel like that's going to be just impressive if you got through it. So yeah, let's just do mechanical. So.
Exactly.
Or is there ever a moment where you were like, oh, I need to like switch majors?
Oh my goodness, so many times.
Everyone thinks that at some point, you know.
Oh yeah, there's just like where I question everything. I'm just like, is this the right thing for me? Like maybe I should just drop out, kind of deal. Like, oh yeah, I've had all of that. Like, yeah, so all the time.
Because the average is what, like, I think it's like 4 major switches on average
per person.
Yeah, 3 to 4.
I guess maybe.
Did you switch at all?
I mean, I just was undeclared when I started, and then I picked one. So I guess technically I had one switch.
And yours was imaginary engineering.
Imaginary,
right?
industrial,
yeah.
Imaginary. Easy engineering.
Easy engineering.
I don't know. Any engineering.
I know.
Any engineering's hard.
Yeah, that's right.
Jeez. I think I only switched once.
Yes, I don't. 3 to 4 is a lot.
That's what I've seen on the numbers. I don't know.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I know most of my friends at least had one switch in their like academic career, but 3 to 4. Wow, that. I think also for us it was like there was eligibility issues with that. Like, you know, like if you get you have to have progress towards like a major. So if you switch, like if you're on your 3rd switch, like you'd run into probably some like eligibility issues.
Yeah, especially if you're switching. A shame. Yeah, exactly. But if you're switching colleges or whatever, and it's like you're starting over essentially, if none of your credits apply, like you're not making any progress really. So, yeah. I wanted to ask. So, knowing Zach, do you have any interest in stepping up past marathon and doing any of the like 50K, 50-mile U.S. champs or anything like that?
Nope.
No. Nope. Okay.
Even with my ties with Zach, like I feel at home in the marathon, and you know, this just feels like the right event for me, and so I don't want to go up any more than the marathon.
Okay, fair enough. All right, we got to ask about. We got a couple things we got to ask about. You know, looking at your Insta feed. So.
I think the first one's got to be the Rona Mile.
Yeah. We gotta. So you have some beer mile experience. We saw you done some beer miles, and specifically the Rona Mile. Adam, can you give us an impression here?
Oh, hell yeah, brother. That's my best Hulk Hogan.
That was like when the Hulk Hogan like joke was going around
all
like
time. Yeah.
Hell yeah, brother. Yeah. Like, so that was just like a major vibe of that. That was, oh my goodness, that was horrible. So the thing with that is if you wanted it to be like a legal percentage, because like Corona's too light of a percentage, you had to go barely on Familiar.
Yeah.
And yeah, so we went with the Familiar, and then like with the long neck bottles and just like how like malty like that beer was. Oh, it was just such a bad experience. It was
what was the drive towards
would not recommend
or like just sticking with Corona? Like there's so many other beers.
Because the Rona Mile.
Because it was the Rona Mile.
The Rona Mile, you know?
It was because it was Corona. Like,
for the namesake.
And, it was 100% for the namesake, branding, whatever. Like, yeah, wouldn't do it ever again. Would never recommend Corona for at least like Familiar, particularly for a beer mile.
Yeah.
So how many beer miles have you done?
I've only done 2, or well 3, including the Corona one. I have a hard time counting that one. But we did one. I did one in college, like a very low key one that it was so under wraps. Doing on Kentucky's track. Don't know how much trouble we could have gotten in for that one. But that was the first one that I did. I can't remember. It was like 7 minute, like 7:10 or something like that.
Pretty good
solid, solid first one.
Yeah, I was like, not bad. Like I want to like actually give that one a better effort. And then that's when I did another one like a year later in like 6:07, and I was like, I'm pretty content with that. Like, I feel like 6:07's like not too shabby. Like,
I mean, that's probably better than most D1 athletes, let alone like people competing at an elite level post college.
God, yeah.
Yeah. I think maybe there's a one in the near future to try and go under that 6 minute mark, but we'll see.
Yeah, you should keep after it. You got the if you can drop
improve a minute.
I was gonna say if you improve a minute on number
race,
2, I mean, you gotta keep going. But what is technically your mile PR without beer?
The last time I did like a standalone mile was like I want to say high school, and that would have been 4:15.
Okay.
4:15 or like 4:16 range.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that was senior year of high school.
That's crazy.
So
I mean, obviously
though.
faster than that. It's just it's so funny that you like your marathon PR compared to all the rest of your PRs now is like so different. Like if you're only looking at all your PRs under marathon, you're like, he's pretty good, but like he's not, there's no way he's pursuing this, professionally or anything. And then you look at the marathon PR and you're like, oh, okay, that makes more sense.
You're like, when is he going to break all of these other PRs just in the marathon?
Most of them, yeah.
I mean, I PR'd in the 10K too. So it's like,
yeah, count it.
Nah, there's always a season in there where I'm like half tempted to get onto the track, and always what ends up happening is there's just like some kind of small injury that I'm just like, no, pull the
Not
plug.
worth it,
I have a marathon that's down the road that I'm way more focused on. So it just always comes down to me being like, I'm more invested in the marathon. So pulling the plug on a track season is pretty easy for me to do.
And just chasing after PBs, as long as you keep your ego in check, you like have no real reason to do it.
That's how I feel about it. Like, cause again, I mean, I'm not here to like chase times or anything. Right. I'm here to compete, and so going for high placement and really competitive marathons is going to be my focus.
Yeah. So like no part of you is interested in going to the US champs and running the 10K on the track and just seeing if you get a flyer and like make the world's team for the 10K. No part of you wants to do that.
No, not really.
Oh man.
Not really. Yeah, it's all marathon.
Yeah,
I don't know. It's just something about that event It feels special.
Yeah, I mean that would be a very, very hard team to make anyway. But I guess is any of that like a financial or business decision too? Because like if you do well in a marathon, the chance of prize money is like pretty significant versus like on the track. Unless you're making teams or whatever, like most track meets that you go to are going to be very, very minimal in prize money. So is that play a consideration at all, or is it just strictly like you just like the marathon that much better?
I mean, absolutely. I just like the marathon that much better. But also at the same time, it's kind of nice that you get paid in the marathon. Like, even without a sponsorship, too. I think that's what's, like, even bigger about the marathon is, like, you can get a pretty nice payday even without, like, a formal sponsorship kind of thing.
Right, so, the payout. Like, honestly, in most of the track meets, like, you're hitting like standards or whatever your bonus numbers are going to be for your contract. Like that's way more lucrative than any amount of like prize money that you'd really see.
Yeah, typically.
Unless it was like a headline, like at least in the US, if it was like one of the headliner events.
Yeah.
It's a shame. No, I would love to see like more money pumped into other events other than the marathon. I mean, I think it'd be really good for the sport and like, I know some people are like, it's all so controversial now. I feel like any kind of like track and field news that I read, people being like, oh, we want to see racing or, oh, we want to see really fast times. And it's just like,
it's like, what?
Like, what do you,
do you know what you're saying? Like,
it makes a guy when people are like, oh, the winner of that race at the whatever US champs or NCAA champs. Oh, they only ran, it was only like a 13:35K race. Like, that was wussy, like anyone else. I don't know. Like basically discrediting people winning races if the time isn't fast. But it's like it was a race.
On Let's Run, there's like two articles. Like there's is Matt Centrowitz like overrated for winning a gold medal in like a slow as fuck time, and then like right next to that is an opposing article around like I hate time trials. And
like we just want to see races.
What? Yeah. I mean, for me, it's like you look at what the pinnacle of the sport is, and that's the Olympics, and that's championship style racing. Right. So it's like it's just racing at its purest form, and I don't know. That's what I like to do. That's what I like to see. Like, so I think pumping more money into prize money, I think would be especially into the track and field.
I think it's definitely on its way. There's a lot of there's a lot of like community involved. Like people have clearly shown that they're willing to like throw a couple bucks into the pot. Like I don't know,
crowdsourcing prize money.
Yeah.
So we need to also hear a little bit about your tattoos. How many do you have total?
Total. If you count like individual like pieces, I would probably say somewhere around 15.
Okay. Yeah.
I just got one done after Boston because like what I want to do is I want to go to all these world major.
Yeah.
I want to go to all these world major marathons, and like, after the marathon, I want to just go find a parlor and get a flash tattoo to like at each city. The most recent is a broken heart with like a dagger through it, like traditional
that's brilliant.
American style tattoo. So, and it's a little bit of a jab at the whole heartbreak
yes totally
thing. So
that's cool. Where did you get that one at?
Actually on my forum. I actually won't be able to show you pretty easily, I think.
Oh yeah, there we go.
Pretty good.
That's pretty big too. Yeah. That's sweet.
Oh yeah. So and I fit it right in between some of my other like traditional American style tattoos.
How is so like do you usually get them when you're in like an off cycle or like when you're taking time off? Yeah. So I figured it's kind of shitty to sweat on them because it doesn't feel so good for like a couple days.
No, I always try to go for off season. I cut it close with the ones that I got on this forearm because I got these ones like right as things were starting to heat up for Boston training, and I was like, I think I could squeeze it in there. So that's the closest I ever cut it with getting tattoos.
So is the goal to like eventually be like full sleeves or anything like that, or are you're just one at a time, pick out something you like, get it on there, and just see where it goes?
Who knows? It's an infectious thing. It really is. That
running marathons.
right? Everyone was like, oh, I'm just going to get one. And I'm like, yeah, that's same. That's what I said too. I just wanted a one. And then before you know it, your arms are covered in tattoos. So we'll see. I'm not going to make any promises anymore when it comes to tattoos.
So what was number one?
Oh, good question.
Number one was Saint Michael the Archangel. So I have a big angel on my rib cage, which my grandpa is Michael, my dad's Michael, and we have like a Saint Michael chain that like gets passed down. So it was like right after my grandpa passed away in college, and I was like, yeah, this one seems like a no-brainer.
You got it, yeah. Is it it's always like the first one I feel like starts as it's like the most serious tattoo you'll get. What's like the most like dumb or maybe not dumb, but like impromptu, you're just like, fuck it, like this is what I'm gonna get?
See, I feel like they've definitely gotten slightly like less meaningful, but like I feel like all of them still do have like some kind of loose tie to some kind of general interest. Cause like I really there's like I guess like okay, so the wolf, and this one's probably like I would say like the dumbest kind of like reasoning, but I got it out of a vending machine.
Really?
So I was like, this seems really cool. Like you just go, you pay.
Oh, do they have it in the shop? And they like usually it's like a discount, right? You're like, oh, pick one out of the vending machine, and it's like $100 or something like that.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So yeah, you pay for like this $100 token, and you like put it into their like little like toy machine, and you pop open a little toy capsule. And
so it's completely random.
Completely random.
Oh shit.
Yeah. It was funny. After I finished, the guy who was tattooing was like, yeah, thanks for being a good sport about it. You'd be surprised at the number of people who come in and
I'm sure.
get it and then try and change it. I'm just like, doesn't that defeat the purpose of it being completely random?
Yeah.
That's crazy that for number one you just like you went big though, like big size versus
you gotta go.
I don't know.
For
Well,
it.
some people like dip their toe in with just like 2 inch by 2 inch or something.
I feel
just,
like
if
you get a small one, you're less likely to just like get it because once you get like your first like big ass tattoo, you're like, oh, I could do something a little smaller. Like that's easy peasy.
Yeah, no, 100%.
I mean, because
the ribs hurt.
Yeah, I actually Dave Melly just got one on his ribs, and I was like, I don't know if I would do that. Like, I need some more softer spots. Maybe I'll get an ass tat for my next tattoo.
I hear that's like still like somewhat painful though.
I bet like certain part like depends on where you got it on your ass. Like
the nerves.
Yeah.
The nerves
if you got a good amount of nerves going through there. So I was actually gonna say the most painful has actually been the wrist. Like the wrist was super, super painful. All the nerves going to the hand. That was bad.
I've never desired a hand tattoo, but I like saw one. There's like this. It's probably like the most famous tattoo shop, at least that one that I've seen on Instagram. It's out of New York, and I saw a hand tattoo. I was like, okay, maybe that one. But I've heard bad things.
Yeah, hand tats are pretty sweet.
Yeah.
Maybe one day you'll see a hand tat.
Oh. Shit, do you have any other closing questions?
Man, we got everything we wanted to ask about.
Can we squeeze any words of wisdom out of you?
Yeah,
I feel like you gave us a lot already.
You've already given us some good words of wisdom, but I don't know. Anything to leave the people with.
I mean, just like, obviously the whole believing in what you're doing on the day to day and like don't question yourself, but like also just like for me, I think what I've seen the most success in the sport has been being patient, It's not going to happen overnight. And, just running yourself into like a grave of like just jacking up your mileage, your intensity. Like sometimes things just come with time and, building season after season. And I think that's what's been really helpful for me is just being patient. The time will come, and as long as you keep putting in successful seasons, like one day it's gonna pay off big.
Love
I
that.
like it.
Yeah, valid. Everyone could use a lesson in patience, I'd say, including myself.
Yeah. Well, especially in marathoning and.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I say it like it's easy for me to practice, but even I need that reminder too.
Of course.
It's like,
I mean, most of
go out there
most of my words of wisdom or anything like that is usually just me telling myself things.
Yeah, pretty much.
Right.
Awesome,
and
man.
It was great having you. Do you have anything to plug? We'll put your socials and everything like that. But anything else you want to make sure folks check out?
No, I mean, not really any major plugs. Just myself.
Yeah, we'll pay attention for when you make the trek to Boulder.
Yeah, that'll be good.
Definitely.
Yeah, best of luck with that transition and move and figuring all that out. That'll be fun though. Get back to altitude.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Perfect.
All right. Nice talking to you guys.
All right.
Thanks,
cheers.
Mick.
Enjoy the weekend. See ya.
Later.